After the announcement of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at E3, fans have been buzzing about the enormous amount of playable characters in the new installment of this revolutionary fighting game franchise. Every character that's ever appeared in a Smash Bros. Title is in this game, and they've added new and exciting ones like the Inklings from Splatoon and Samus's ultimate rival, Ridley. Including all the new additions, this puts the playable character list at well over 60 plus. However, there have been a few characters that have been left out of the initial announcement of the game, leaving some fans confused and angry. My name is Copycat, and welcome to the top 10 most wanted characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The characters on this list all have to be focal points in past, present, or future Nintendo games, and with each character I'll be discussing their potential moves and final Smash ability. Even though Waluigi does deserve to be a character in this game, little is known about his abilities as he never appears in any story-driven Mario adventure. Where Waluigi shines is mainly in Nintendo's sports and party games as a playable character. This character's ability set could pay homage to those games by taking elements from each one of them. Waluigi could spawn a go-kart, which could work very similar to Wario's motorcycle. He could use a golf club or a tennis racket as his basic attack, and his special could involve kicking a soccer ball as hard as you charge it up. The up B recovery could involve him shooting up in the air to dunk a basketball, and his final smash would involve his ability to spawn a pool of water that can wash away his enemies. This random ability appears in many of the games that Waluigi is also in.
Another puzzle solved.
Just like Waluigi, Professor Layton barely displays any ability, so understanding what his attacks would be is very difficult. I was struggling with the decision about adding this character to this list, but I decided to include him because he really is a well-known Nintendo character and is more popular than some other characters in this game. His basic attack could involve just a simple punch or kick, but really wouldn't do any major damage. His special could involve using his magnifying glass to find hidden items that can be used with his basic attacks in battle to make him even stronger. Professor Layton's final smash could involve summoning artifacts from his previous games to be used in battle against his opponents.
Here we go!
Now, one character I decided to include on this list that may surprise some of you, but I believe deserves a spot, is Captain Toad. Although he's very small in stature, Captain Toad packs a punch, and is one of the only courageous Toads in the entire Mushroom Kingdom. Captain Toad's basic attack would be the throwing of turnips, which would appear on the ground randomly, making him having to pick them up, and that adds a bit of difficulty to his character. Instead of a traditional A smash move, he could find bombs on the ground instead of turnips and throw them at people just like Super Mario Bros. 2. These bombs could inflict tons of damage if they hit an enemy in its vicinity. His special ability would be the use of his pickaxe, which would allow him to inflict damage on enemies and counter attacks from them. The most difficult thing to figure out is how Captain Toad would jump, as he never does in the Treasure Tracker game due to his heavy backpack. One idea would be platform-like structures could come underneath him and lift him up, just like the interactable ones in Treasure Tracker. Now the developers would have to decide whether or not these platforms could also interact with other characters, however this could be extremely annoying. His up B could be Wingo, the bird boss in the game, flying on screen and putting him back on the stage area. Captain Toad's final smash would be Toad Brigade, which would bring hundreds of Toads on screen, wiping out every opponent in their way. One Nintendo franchise that desperately deserves a character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is Castlevania. The main character of this series is Simon Belmont, and this vampire slayer uses a whip to kill his opponents, so this would be an obvious choice for his basic attacks. His special could involve throwing a variety of items that's found in the Castlevania series, like daggers, boomerangs, or even poison that could slow enemies. Assuming Simon Belmont's whip already does tons of damage, then his up B should be a bit more difficult to use, as it can make the user control the whip to grab onto walls and ledges. His final smash could involve stopping time, where he can inflict damage on his opponents. When time unfreezes, the opponents will take that damage and could kill them if enough is applied.
Impressive, I know.
Out of the 4 champions in Breath of the Wild, Ravalli deserves a spot on this list as his ability set would mesh well in the Super Smash Bros. Game. This bird-like humanoid could have a moveset similar to Link's, but his bow should be his main focus as his race excels with the weapon. Ravalli would also have a sword, but it would do nowhere close to the same amount of damage as Link's Master Sword. Of course, his bow would be his main damage dealer, and could work well with the fact that Ravalli can fly, making him a dangerous mobile character. Ravalli's up B would be Ravalli's Gale, of course, which is a move that Link uses in Breath of the Wild. Finally, his final smash could involve summoning all other champions to aid him in destroying his enemies. Even though Shovel Knight isn't technically a Nintendo-owned character, he got his start on the Wii U and 3DS, which skyrocketed the game's popularity. Shovel Knight's basic attack would of course involve his shovel. One of the main abilities in the Shovel Knight games is that he's able to use his shovel to bounce off the head of his enemies, which is definitely something that would be added in the Smash Bros. Game, as it could be used as his down A move. Shovel Knight's special would allow him to add relics to himself, very similar to Shulk's ability to change his attributes, and would give him the ability to move faster, give him more strength, boost his defenses, or allow him to jump higher. Shovel Knight's final smash could involve digging up an ultimate treasure to use against his enemies. The only thing holding this character back from being in the game is that he isn't the biggest in Japan, which is where Nintendo develops Super Smash Bros. Even though there's already 7 Pokemon, plus the re-edition of Pokemon Trainer, I still feel like there's room for them to add many more to the game. If any of you guys have played Pokken Tournament, then you'll know they have over 20 Pokemon to choose from in this Tekken-inspired crossover game. Pokemon are easy to work with as their ability sets translate well into the Super Smash Bros. Games. A character like Gengar can use moves like Hypnosis, Shadow Punch, and Astonish as its basic attacks, where its special would be a Shadow Ball which could be charged up to deal more damage. Gengar's up B would probably be similar to Mewtwo's, and his final smash would be Confusion and every opponent on the map would involuntarily jump off the edge. Blastoise is another character that would fit well into the Super Smash Bros. Game. His basic attacks would just involve a normal punch or kick, and his special would be Water Gun where he could send blasts of water at his enemies. His up B recovery would be Hydro Pump which he could use to propel him through the air, and his final smash would be Surf, which he could use to wash away his enemies. There could be plenty of other options for Pokemon, and I'm sure there will be in the future, but let me know in the comments below which ones you think should be in this game. One of the most iconic franchises from the N64 era is the Banjo Kazooie series of games, and it's a shame these two combined characters haven't made an appearance in a Smash Bros. Game yet. Banjo and Kazooie have numerous abilities together. Their basic attack could be a Kazooie Beak attack, with the down A being their Beak Buster ability. Their jumping mechanics would work similarly to what you can do in their games, where Kazooie can lift Banjo off the ground for a few seconds, but can't continue to fly due to his heavy weight. Their special would involve the firing of eggs from Kazooie, which can come in the form of fire eggs, ice eggs, grenade eggs, or proximity eggs. Their up B move could involve using a shock jump pad that features in a variety of their games, and launches Banjo and Kazooie high up in the air. Their final smash could involve summoning the mighty Jinjonator, who is the godlike Jinjo character who dealt the final blow to Gruntilda in the first Banjo Kazooie game. The only problem right now is that the Banjo Kazooie rights are owned by Microsoft, but I'm sure Nintendo could ask for a favor considering these two characters were a huge part of the system's uprising.
Here we go!
Even though many characters have multiple versions of themselves in the Super Smash Bros. Series, Mario only has one right now in the form of Dr. Mario, who essentially has the exact same moves as the regular Mario. The best Mario franchise character that definitely deserves a spot in this game is Paper Mario. Paper Mario's basic attack could be with a hammer that can be charged up to deal more damage to his opponents. Just like in the Paper Mario games, damage could also be dealt by jumping on the heads of your opponents, and pressing A right before the attack lands could deal tons of damage, otherwise the attack would fail and do almost no damage. Paper Mario's special ability could summon partners to help you in specific situations depending on which one you need. The up B could spawn Paracarry and could carry you back onto the stage. The down B could spawn Bombette, which could be left in place until she explodes. Pressing left or right B could spawn Cooper, which you can then send hurling towards your enemies. And holding B and charging it up could spawn Lady Bow, which would render Mario invisible to everyone on screen. Paper Mario's final smash would be the giant fan from Sticker Star, which would blow every enemy off the screen and would kill the ones that have already taken a high amount of damage. Before I reveal number 1 on this list, here are some honorable mentions that didn't make it. The character that takes the #1 spot on this list is the ultimate bad guy in the Donkey Kong universe. King K. Rool first appeared in Donkey Kong Country on the SNES and has remained the main antagonist to Donkey Kong in almost every game since. However, his abilities only ever really came to light in Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, where he's equipped with a high-tech blunderbuss, which would be the basis of his abilities in Super Smash Bros. His basic attack would involve hitting people with his gun, and his A forward smash could fire a short-range shotgun blast that could do tons of damage to enemies directly in front of him. His special moves would all involve shooting large projectiles out of his blunderbuss that could travel relatively slow but deal immense amounts of damage if they hit their target. Krol's up B move would be relatively similar to Diddy Kong, where he can charge up his gun and use it as a cannon to propel him through the air. Just like in Donkey Kong Country 2, he could also change the type of projectile he fires by charging up his gun. His final smash would be a cannon barrage, which would drop hundreds of cannonballs from on top the screen onto the stage, damaging any enemy hit by them. While this is going on, King K. Krol can also deal damage to them, giving him an extra ability to knock them off the screen. Alright, so that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. If you think I missed any characters, or disagree with one I added on this list, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Goodbye!